So good morning. I'm really emotional this morning. I after the past 2 days of spending time with such incredible women and how HaKadosh Baruch Hu has pulled this whole conference together for us, it's really very, very emotional morning. Um, so I wanted to share with you a little bit about why we do what we do. I know people ask us all the time, ask Tzippi, Michelle, and I, like, we often get comments like, wow, that's amazing. How did you figure this out? Why do you do what you do? And I wanted to share it to you from my perspective. So I'm from birth. It's not loud enough?
I hear you, but
Yes, from Sydney's Okay, I've always been known for my loud voice, so especially my kids always knew my voice was loud. Are you able to hear it in the camera? Yeah, okay. So I'm from birth. Came from a beautiful family. My great-grandfather was the Biana Rav. I grew up with a wonderful yeshiva education, a girls' school education. And about 17 years ago, after raising my family in Flatbush, it's a large family together with my husband, Baruch Hashem, I was approached by some people in Eshat Torah to learn the fundamentals in order to do kiruv. And I started learning this material, and I was quite fascinated with it. I said, I don't know, I had such a good education. I always loved to learn. I always went to classes, but I never knew half of this stuff. How come I don't know this? And so I started sharing it with a lot of my friends, and I started teaching it in the frum community. I started teaching chaburas. I call them intentional Yiddishkeit chaburas. Hadassah's daughter Malki has been in my chabura for 10 years, at least. And so it's become a sisterhood. It has become a sisterhood, Baruch Hashem. But I've been teaching this to the women for many years, and I was wondering, like, why do we have to wait to learn all of this until you're married, until you've been going through all of your life struggles and challenges? Why aren't we teaching this in the schools? And Tzippi and Michelle and I got together and we started on Lots. And basically to give you an opportunity to re-examine, what emphasis you're doing in your placing in your schools, or rather what emphasis on which syllable. So I'd like you to think about this as we're studying this. And I'd like to start with this. If you've ever been to the ocean, you look out into the ocean and you look at the horizon, and you feel like if you could just stick out your hand and touch it, you could probably touch the end of the ocean. You kind of have this feeling like I could just touch it, I could just get there. And we all know that when we go into the ocean and we start paddling and we start going with our boat, the deeper we go, the deeper we realize how deep it really is. And I can never cover the entire ocean. And that's kind of how I feel about learning Torah. We kind of think like we know this. Well, I just know this. Do I really know it? The more I study it, the more I realize that there is so much more that I don't know. So I want you to sit back and I want you to think about you're 20 years old and your father comes over to you and he says to you, he wants to share something with you. He tells you that years back, he invested in Apple, in JP Morgan, in Bitcoin. He made a lot of money. He made $1 billion. And he's earned this money. He doesn't want anyone else to know. But he wants you to know that anything that you're going to do in your life, he's got you covered. He's got your back. You don't have to worry about anything. Any decisions that you want to make, any place that you want to go, I've got the money covered for you. How do you think you're going to feel as a 20-year-old. You're going to probably feel calm. You're going to probably feel reassured. My daddy, my tati's got my back. Anything that I'm going to try to go to in my life, I'm going to try to, go out into the world and have new ideas and vision and grand ideas. My father's going to be there to help me. $1 billion, he's a billionaire. I've got this covered. I've got it covered. So in truth, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is way more than a billionaire. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our Father in heaven. He's Avinu Shabashamayim. And he has our back. He has everything that we could possibly need. And our goal in life is to internalize that truth. But first, I think we all feel in some way, some little way, like we want our Father in heaven, Avinu Shabashamayim, to be our grandfather in heaven. We want him to be our Zaidi. Because grandparents let you stay up at night and they let you don't have to go to sleep on time and you can eat jelly beans for supper and you don't have to do your homework and you don't have to wake up and you don't have to do any responsibilities. It's okay, Mamala. It's okay, Tatala. Grandparents kind of like spoil us. And I think there's this little piece of us in the back of our minds that we want to think of HaKadosh Baruch Hu as our Zaidi, as our grandfather in heaven. But what's our father? What are parents? Like, what's a really good parent? A really good parent is somebody that wants you to be independent, self-reliant, responsible, accountable. And so your parent is going to be demanding of you things that is not always so easy and not always so comfortable. No, you can't just do what you want. I need you to wake up on time. If your child is playing Lego on the floor when he's a little boy and he's building these castles, you say to him, that is so adorable, look, he is so Zeus, look what he's building over there. If he's 45 and he's still sitting on the floor playing Lego, it's not cute anymore. It's not cute. Because we know that as we mature, right, we have to become more independent and self-reliant and responsible. And that's our role as parents. Our role as parents is to create in our children the ability to be independent and self-reliant and responsible. That's our job. It's a very interesting thing because I don't want to get off on a tangent, but I see in our community very often that parents don't really want their kids to be too independent. They want to kind of like keep a hold on them. But the Torah tells us something different. The Torah tells us if you really want to be a good parent, your child is going to go out on their own. And they're going to be independent. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. He wants us to develop our independence. He wants us to be able to think about what's important to me. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachal, as our Father, gives us the ability, as we're developing ourselves, to choose. As Yael Kaisman always says, we're not only the chosen people, we are the choosing people. We have the ability to choose. We have Bechira. That is the greatest gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us, is the ability to choose. And so he gave us 2 feet. My right foot goes here and my left foot goes there. And sometimes I choose to do this and sometimes I choose to do that because I have the ability to choose. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I want you to choose a relationship with me. I want you to choose it. And if we know anything about relationships, we know that a relationship cannot be imposed. It has to be chosen. You can't force someone to be in a relationship with you. You can't force someone to be your friend. You have to be able to choose the relationship. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachal says, I want you to choose this relationship with me. And we also know about relationships that they're as strong as their weakest member. So in other words, if I like you and you like me, we have a like relationship. We both like each other. If I love you and you love me, we have a love relationship, right? What if I love you and you only like me back? What kind of relationship do we have? What? A like relationship. But wait a minute, I love you. I love you. You only like me back? What kind of relationship do we have? We have a like relationship. It's only as strong as the weakest member. What if I love you and you don't want to have anything to do with me? What kind of relationship do we have? no relationship. How often do you read in the papers, and it should never be from any of us, right? You hear about a mother who loves her child so much, and her child doesn't want to have anything to do with her. She says, I love him with all my heart. I love him so much, but he doesn't want to have anything to do with me? What kind of relationship do they have? No relationship. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to have a relationship with us, and he loves us unconditionally. He keeps on giving his love to us over and over and over again. He keeps on showing his love to us every single day. And our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is dependent upon us, what we give back to him. What we give back to him is going to determine our relationship with him. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us this beautiful Torah, Torah's Chaim, 613 ways to connect to him. And he says, here, I'm giving you the book. I'm giving you the ability to connect with me. Here's 613 ways. 365 248 positive commandments. Do this, mitzvah says, say, do this. This is a way for you to bring yourself closer to me. 365 lo sases, negative commandments. Don't do this, because this could pull you away from me. And he said, here's the instructions. I'm giving you the instruction manual. You want a beautiful, meaningful life? Just follow the book. Read the book. Now, out of all of these mitzvos and ways to connect, there are 6 very special mitzvos. They're the goal mitzvos, and they're mitzvos of thought. And we talk about these all the time, but the truth is that if we really understand them, and if we really internalize what these sheish mitzvos tamidios are, they're a way for us to work on a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu every single minute of the day. If I asked you women, how many of you want to do mitzvos? You're all going to raise your hands. I want to do as many mitzvos as I can. And how many of you want to do averos? None of you are going to raise your hands. Don't want to do any averos. But then, in the back of our minds, we're thinking, there seems to be this whole part of our life that doesn't have anything to do with mitzvos and doesn't have anything to do with averos, but it's my whole life. There's a snowstorm coming. What's going to happen? The dishwasher broke down again. The shadchan just called and they read the shidduch. I can't believe what kind of shidduch they read. Or the shadchan didn't call and I'm sitting by the phone. There seems to be an entire part of our lives where we don't focus on the fact they're not mitzvos to us and they're not averos. They're just our life. The substitute didn't show up. This child was disrespectful to me. We don't realize that every single second, every single minute, we have the ability to perform a mitzvah and to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's when we practice the sheish mitzvahs tamidios, the 6 constant mitzvahs. They're mitzvahs of thought, and they're tamidios, which means they are constant. Meaning that they're constant means that every single second of my life, I have the ability to observe it. And it also means that at every second of my life, I have the ability to transgress it. Means it's going to be a challenge for me every single second. So on the one hand, I have the ability to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but I'm going to be tested. It's going to be tests. And let me tell you, ladies, we all go through this and we all have tests every single second of our lives. But do we look at it in terms of the fact that this is a way for me to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu or not? Are we looking at it that way? Or are we just thinking, I remember, this is not in my class, but I have to share it. We did our first Amatz trip to Eretz Yisrael. And as HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in his great kindness and goodness, did for us, he presented a daffy for us. Sarah Chavid Rigler says that daffies are anything that's disappointing, aggravating, frustrating, or irritating. A daffy. Disappointing, aggravating, frustrating, irritating, is a way for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for, as she put it, spiritual rectification of your soul. Meaning it's a way for me to be matakeh my neshama, right? For me to work on myself. So the 3 of us go and we take our first group of principals to Eretz Yisrael, and we get to Eretz Yisrael, and our luggage doesn't come with us. And we're missing our luggage. We're in Eretz Yisrael. And we had thoughts and ideas like we have to present ourselves to these principals and we have to make them think like we're professional and we know what we're doing and we care And then we show up in our slinky skirts and our sneakers and our tichels and our what are we going to do? And our luggage did not come for 4 days. Okay? And I have to say that it was fascinating because the three of us went shopping. Did you ever try going shopping and a New York woman or Cleveland woman in Geula for your clothing? Did you ever try to do that? And have all these little pitsy little flowers on your shoes, on your patent leather shoes? And I remember that we did our best and we bought something to wear and we showed up with a smile and we said, well, HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that our clothing's not supposed to be here, and it's not going to be here a second before, and it's not going to be here a second after. But it's fascinating. Many of the women, their attitude, and these were machanchos, and very frum, wonderful women. Many women said to us, what are you talking about? You didn't get it. You don't have your clothing, you don't have your luggage, what are you going to do? Call the airline. They were in such a panic, and we were just kind of like laughing about it. Because it was so clear to us that this was HaKadosh Baruch Hu's way of loving us and saying, I see greatness and I want to see it in you. And I'm giving you this opportunity. So these 6 mitzvos are something that we're supposed to have with, as Rav Noach Weinberg said, 5-finger clarity. What does 5-finger clarity mean? If I ask any of you how many fingers you have on your hand, you will say you have 5 fingers. You don't have to count. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to say, how many fingers do I have? 1, 2, 3. You don't have to count. You don't have to think about it. You know you have 5 fingers. I can wake you up in the middle of the night and ask you how many fingers you have. You're going to say 5. You could be in the dentist chair under anesthesia and ask you how many fingers you have. You're going to say 5. You have 5-finger clarity. That's what we're supposed to have with our emunah and bitachon, 5-finger clarity. So you're all teachers, machanchos. Let's go to the source of the mitzvos, of the sheish mitzvos tmidios. And we gave out 2 handouts. Here's the first one. Hilchos Hanhagas Adam Baboker. You all see it? It's the one with a lot of words on it and a lot of little words on it. So the Mishnah Berurah is on the top of the paragraph. This is the Shulchan Aruch. And the Mishnah Berurah is on the top. Okay. This is the first page of the first chelek of the Mishnah Berurah. This is the first page of what a person is supposed to do when he wakes up in the morning. Meaning, this is the first thing. What's the most important thing? The first thing, you wake up in the morning, this is what you're supposed to do. Now, the Shulchan Aruch was written by Rabbi Yosef Karo, the great Sephardic posek, and the Ramah, the great Ashkenazi posek, at the same time joined forces with Rabbi Yosef Karo. He didn't write his own sefer. He joined forces with the Shulchan Aruch, and instead of writing his own sefer, they're printed together. So this is the definitive page for the entire Klal Yisrael. Ashkenazim, Sfaradim, this is the most important page. This is not like Leba Schwebel's idea of what you should be doing in the morning, right? This is the most important page, and it's agreed on by everybody. So let's read. Yiskaber ka'ari la'amod baboker. Should get up like a lion in the morning, la'avodas boirai. Should get up in the morning to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu like a lion. Sheyehehu ma'orer hashachar. You have to get up early in the morning and serve your master like a lion. Haggah, see the next word? Haggah is now the Ramah is inserting his idea, meaning this was Rabbi Yosef Karo, and now the Ramah is inserting what he says. Haggah, va'al kol panim lo ya'acher zman hatzvila shahatzibur mispalim. Don't get up later than when everyone is supposed to be davening shachris. Okay? Haggah, he wants to say one more thing, so he's inserting it. Shivisi Hashem lenegdi samit. I should live with the feeling that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in front of me at all times.
This is the first thing that every single Jew is told to do, every Yid is told to do when they wake up in the morning. Wake up with zrizlus, wake up with enthusiasm, wake up with passion for your life, and think to yourself that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is front of me at all times. Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid, that is the main thing. There's a famous author, Stephen Covey, and he has this expression. The main thing is that the main thing should be the main thing. This is the main thing. Now, the Chavetz Chaim, who wrote the Mishnah Brura, writes, how do we observe Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid? And if you look down, he writes, Sheish mitzvos timidios. You should be observing the 6 constant mitzvos. Now, these mitzvos are constant, and they're an ability for us to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the Torah is telling us this is what you should be doing. Look at the next page. The next page is Sefer HaChinuch. Sefer HaChinuch was written by somebody who wanted his son for a bar mitzvah present to review all of the mitzvos. So he wrote a book about a compendium of all the mitzvos. And on the bottom at line like 15, right? He's speaking about all the mitzvos. Chutz me'shisha mitzvos mehen sheychiyuvin tamidi. He's talking about mitzvos, and he's saying there's some mitzvos that are for men, there's some that are for women, there's some that are for Shabbos, there's some for Yamim Tovim, there's some for Eretz Yisrael, there's some for outside of Eretz Yisrael, right? There's 613. What are the 6 mitzvos that are constant for every single person, every single second of their lives? Yeshesh mitzvos timidios. Chutz me'shisha mitzvos shehein chiyuvin timidi. These are they're mandatory, chiyuvin. They're mandatory constantly. Lo yifsok me'al ha'adam afilu rega b'chol yamav. You shouldn't be detracting from it, not even 1 second of your life. And what are they? Okay, so he delineates them this way. Lahamin Bashem. I will do it in the order that we do it. Lahamin Bashem, to believe in HaKadosh, to know HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yedias Hashem, right? Shalo lahamin zu laso. We do it this way. Lo yelecha Elohim acharim. There are no other independent powers. Yichud Hashem. Hashem is one. Avas Hashem. Loving Hashem. Yiras Hashem. Fear of Hashem. Belos asur acharei levavchem v'acharei nechem. And do not stray after the desires of your heart and your eyes. Now, let's go through them little by little in the time that we have and see if we can understand that if we know something, we will feel it. And if we feel something, we will live it. And if we have that kind of life, we will love it. And this is really at the core of what we are as Yidden, as Jews. You know, we kind of like very often look at the external way that we're living, and what we don't realize is that this is what's going to fuel us. This is our engine. If we really know this, then we feel it, right? Your intellect affects your emotions. I'm going to show you how the 6 constant mitzvos lead into the goal. It allows us that when we understand them, to internalize them and live the 6 constant mitzvos. And if so, you will be a Shivisi person. You will have the Shivisi mindset. And that's what this is all about. Can I walk through my life with a Shivisi mindset? When my caterer doesn't show up, can I have a Shivisi mindset? When my flight is canceled, can I have a Shivisi mindset? When the principal calls, can I have a Shivisi mindset? Right? So, it's a formula. It's a formula that when you know something, you can feel it. You can appreciate it. You can live it, and you can love it. So the first 3 mitzvos are mitzvos of emunah. The first one, Leda she'yeshem Eloka, to know that there is a God. This comes from the Aseres HaDibros. Anochi Hashem Elokecha asher hotzicha me'eretz Mitzrayim. It's interesting that the first of the Aseres HaDibros, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what is he telling us to do? There's like lo sirtzach, I know I'm not supposed to kill, I'm not supposed to steal. But what is this commandment exactly? Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am your God who took you out of Mitzrayim. What's the commandment? What's the commandment? The commandment is to know him. The commandment is to know HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does it mean when we know him? It means that we study him. So there are three ways that we can know HaKadosh Baruch Hu. To understand that he's the creator of the world, that he's sustaining the world second by second, and that he's orchestrating everything. So Florida is a very, very good, easy place to observe this mitzvah. Look at those palm trees, look at that ocean, look at those waves. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created this world. This world is unbelievable. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the creator. Every single time I acknowledge that Hashem created the ocean, I'm observing a mitzvah. I'm observing a mitzvah. Hashem is the creator of the world. That's amazing. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't just create the world and leave it alone and say, good luck, guys, you're on your own. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sustains it second by second. And he sustains our ability to live and enjoy this world too. So when I wake up in the morning and I'm okay, and the sun is shining, and I could smile, and I can brush my teeth, and I can have a cup of coffee, that's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu enabling me every single second to do it. I can't take any credit for that. I can't take credit for the fact that I can hold this microphone and talk to you. I could do my homework, I could prepare, but the fact that these words are coming out of my mouth is totally because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is enabling me to do it. And I think as a community, we have absorbed a lot of the Western definition of success. Yeah, work hard, and you get a good degree, make a good living, you have a good life, yeah. No, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is enabling me every single second. I can put in my efforts, but the outcome of my efforts is totally up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Completely up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So I can plan this conference from today till tomorrow together with two illustrious, incredible partners, Tzipi and Michelle, and there could be a snowstorm. We can work and work and work, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides how this is going to come out. That's it. It's all him. It's all him. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not only the creator, but he's the sustainer. He's sustaining it. And he's orchestrating everything for our good. That means every little thing that's happening in my life is orchestrated by him. You know, the Vart Mikra, it's not a coincidence. It's Rak Me Hashem, the same letters. It's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Whereas my father, Alav Shalom, used to say the word coincide means ka, inside. There are no coincidences. It's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ka, inside. So Hashem says, I am your God and I took you out of Mitzrayim. Yeah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us there's hashgacha pratis in this world. Whatever you're going to go through in your life, I'm taking you out. I've taken you out before and I'm going to take you out again. I'll always be there for you. And for that emotional resilience that we need, that bitachon that we need, in order to feel it, the Shar Bitachon says that Hashem is all good and all-knowing and all-powerful. But he needs to be all three of us, all three of them, for me to be able to trust him. Because if he were all-knowing, if he knew everything, but he wasn't powerful, like what good would that do me? I mean, so he knows, but he can't help me, so how does that help me? I'm not going to feel calm. If he were all-powerful, but he doesn't know what I want, that's not good enough either. Can't depend on that. But if he were all good and has no power, that's nice that he's all good, but he has no power and he doesn't know what I want. But I can rely on HaKadosh Baruch Hu because he's all good and all-knowing and all-powerful. There isn't anything that he doesn't know, that he doesn't care about me more than anything in the world, and that he can't do. He can do anything. And everything is tailor-made for me. Life doesn't happen for you, to you. Life doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. Life happens for you. You know, when Rubashkin was in jail, so people sent him a lot of letters. And he got a lot of mail when he was in jail, Sholmer Bashkin. And none of the other inmates got mail. I mean, who are you kidding? One letter here, one letter there. And every day at roll call, the prison guard would come in with these huge sacks of mail, and he would call out Tyler Jones, and here's one letter, and then the next guy, your name, and then he would give this entire bag of mail to Sholmer Bashkin. And one day, one of the prisoners came over to him and said, "This is not fair, you got my mail." And he said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You got my mail." He said, I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, "You got all the mail, I got no mail, you got my mail." He said, but look at this, it's addressed to me. It's addressed to me, it's got my name on it, and actually it's even written in Yiddish. Do you even speak Yiddish? He goes, "It's not fair, you got my mail." You know, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sending us our mail delivered to us. It's our letter. Us wishing that we would get somebody else's things is just me asking for somebody else's letter. It's ridiculous. When Kathy writes a letter to Tommy, it has no effect on me at all. What good is it going to do for me? It's not meant for me. It's not mine. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sending us every single second, every single experience, every single challenge, every single confrontation, every single joy, every single pleasure directly for us. So I'd like you to take a moment, and I'd like you each to think about one student in your school who's very challenging to you. Very challenging. And some of you might have a few. I don't know. But I want you to think about one student who's extremely challenging. And I want you to internalize the Shivisi mindset. And the way your sentence is going to be framed might sound something like this. Hashem, this student was tailor-made for me. Hashem decided that I am the best teacher for this student, and this student is the best student to bring out the qualities in me as a teacher. And so often you speak to school and they say, "Well, I don't know what," like in the boys, I remember at one time, "He doesn't belong in the Aleph Shir. His parents gave a lot of money to the yeshiva, and that's why he's there." No, you're in that class. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put you in that class. That means that your teacher is the best teacher for you, and you are the best student for your teacher. So, again, yes?
Droman always started our teacher meetings. Mrs. Sarah Droman always started every opening teacher meetings with the pasuk from Amos, Hayelchu Shnayim Yachdav Bilti Im No Adu. Every single opening meeting, Hayelchu Shnayim Yachdav Bilti Im No Adu. Do two people ever meet unless HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that they will? And she said, your student is for you, and you are for your student, and you're both going to grow from each other.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm gonna get that pasuk from you later for my next time I say this. Thank you. Vayelchu shnayim yachad. Bilti im noadu. Beautiful. In Amos. Okay. So that's the first mitzvah. Leida sheyesh Shem Elokah, to know there is a God. To know. It's not, we are not asked, we're not asked to believe. We're not asked to believe, we're asked to know. And the only way I'm going to know is if I focus my attention and my mind on it. Mitzvah number 2, lo yeh lecha Elohim achirim. Do not believe in other powers. Not the government, not the weather service, not the doctor, not the board of directors of your school, not the shadchan, not the head of the seminary. Nobody has any independent power in this world. Nobody. It's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Number 3, Yichud Hashem. We say this, ladies, this is our mission statement. This is the mission statement of the Jewish people. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. You know, we say this every day. I don't even think I don't know, for years I never thought about what that meant. What does that mean? It's just, I know that every single Jew throughout history said Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. In Europe and in the pogroms and in the Inquisition, whether he was religious, whether he wasn't religious, every Jew on the lips says Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. But do we really think about what that means, Hashem Echad? It means it's all him. Shema Yisrael Hashem, the name of Hashem is the name of Chesed, Yud Kei Vav Kei, and Elokeinu is the God of Din. And Hashem says, I know this looks like Din to you now. And I know this looks like Rachamim to you, but it's all me. It's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have this, we say this all the time. Ein Od Milvadai. That's what this is. It's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yichud Hashem. When you know Hashem loves you unconditionally, that he's running every detail, that he has all the power, that he always does what's best for you, how are you going to feel? How are you going to feel? Think back to that 20-year-old with a billionaire father. How are you going to feel? This is so much greater. This is so huge. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's got my back with everything. How am I going to feel? I'm going to feel tremendous love. If you give me this gift that's so huge, what am I going to feel? I'm going to only be able to feel love back. Somebody bought you diamonds and gave you a Rolls Royce, and what are they thinking about you? That they love you. They're giving you something that you appreciate. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us, it's like, I can't even believe I'm saying in the same sentence. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us our lives, gives us our ability to breathe, to be able to see, to be able to drink a coffee and to be able to smell that aroma, to be able to have a yummy pillow and get up and have a roof over our heads and have parents who love us and a community of loving mechanchos and principals who care about me. And pizza and silk scarves and ice cream and rivers and seas and oceans and valleys and mountains and Switzerland. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us everything. What are we going to feel? Of course, we're only going to feel love. We're going to feel tremendous love for him. Avas Hashem means, I can't believe what you're giving me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I know for Tzipi, Michelle, and I, throughout this entire conference, we've had this overriding feeling of love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like, I can't believe you gave this. Look what you're pulling together. Look at all these women. They're interacting with each other. They're engaging with each other. Everything's working out. It's so amazing. Of course you're going to be so appreciative. I can't believe this. So I'm going to only feel tremendous gratitude. My sister Nava, Alel Shalom, was sick when she was 15. She passed away 23 years ago. Or Nava is named after my sister Nava. And she had treatments when she was 15. And she had a bone marrow transplant. And they gave her a lot of chemo beforehand. And the chemo at the time was very, very experimental. And it gave her a lung disease years later. And so she got married and she had family. She had 5 children, Kenai Nahara. But she developed a lung disease from that treatment all those years before. And she was in Pittsburgh waiting for for a lung transplant. It was her lungs. She was waiting for a lung transplant, and she ultimately never got the transplant. She passed away there. But while she was there, she was Columbia didn't accept her, and we were the Pittsburgh team happened to be in New York, and we happened to get them to come over to see her, and they accepted her in Pittsburgh. And so we called, who do we know in Pittsburgh? So we called the Lubavitcher Shliach in Pittsburgh, and they put us up connected with a family named the Rudolphs. Zev and Leba Rudolph. They were family, Lubavitcher family, amazing people with a big, beautiful house. And so they put us up. And her name was also Leba, right? So in those days you could buy a block of tickets, and we would buy like Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, and my sisters and I, we would take turns. And we just had like the stack of tickets, and then you take this ticket. You didn't have to worry about is your name on the ticket? You could do that at the airport. So we would go every day and come back the next day, and then my second sister one day and the next day. Anyway, we stayed at Zev and Leba's house, and Leba Rudolph used to actually answer the phone when I was there, and she would say, "Which Leba would you like to speak to?" And they were very loving, wonderful people. Anyway, Shabbos after Pesach, I was making my son Zachariah's bar mitzvah. And that week, my sister was not doing well, and she needed to have transfusion. So my whole family went one by one, drove down to Pittsburgh, and they were giving blood, and they would just realize this was very serious. But I was making bar mitzvah of my son, Zachariah. And I turned to Rivi, my husband, and I said, "How are we going to do this without my whole family? Like, how are we going to do this bar mitzvah?" And we decided we're going to fly to Pittsburgh one morning. Wednesday morning, Rivi, my husband, and my son are going to fly, and they're going to just drink l'chaim with my parents. And he brought his pshetel with him, and he brought his laning with him, and they flew Wednesday morning, and they went into my parents' house, and they drank l'chaim, and my son read his pshetel for my father, and then he laned for him, and they turned around and they came home. And I was trying to plan this bar mitzvah, and I had family at home, and a lot of kids, and we were preparing the bar mitzvah. And Shabbos, we davened, it was Rosh Chodesh benching, and we had all this hope that, a transplant is it's like Yeshua's Hashem Keherafayin. The person has to be sick enough that they need it, but not too sick that they're going to not survive. And so we davened that it could happen any second, it could happen any second. And we were with everybody, Matzah Shabbos, and we got the call that my sister had passed away Erev Shabbos. And they decided not to tell us, because they were in a different city, and I would have been an onain, meaning I would have had to go through the whole bar mitzvah myself, with my husband, but as if nothing was going on. And so the Rav there, Paskin, they shouldn't tell us, told us Matzah Shabbos. So you can imagine, this was months and months of everything built up, and now we have to get my sister back, because my brother-in-law wanted her buried in Eretz Yisrael. And there were no flights, Matzah Shabbos. The Rudolphs flew her and my family back on their private plane. They flew her back Matzah Shabbos, and we had the Levaya Sunday morning, and she was able to get to Eretz Yisrael. I can't tell you how grateful am I to the Rudolphs. I can't even express to you how grateful I am to them. What they did for us, how they took care of us, how they worried about every single detail, how they carried us along, how they cared enough to make all of those arrangements that Matzah Shabbos. How can I repay them? How can I repay them? I can't repay them. How can I repay HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kav Yachol? I can't. All I can feel inside of me is this huge sense of love and gratitude for everything that you give to me. So when I see everything that Hashem has given me, I'm filled with such love back, and I want to repay Him with all of my gifts. You gave me the ability to speak. I want to share your words of Torah. You give me money. I want to be able to help people with my money. That's what I'm going to feel. It's a natural reaction. It's a natural reaction. And it's not always so easy. It's not always so easy. When I think of my father, Al Shalom, and what he gave me, all I wanted to do was to make him happy and proud of me. I wasn't always mature enough to understand that when he was difficult, when he was tough on us, because he was demanding as a father, but he was never more demanding of us than he was of himself. And we always knew that what he demanded of us was out of a tremendous love for us. And I think that's how we have to look at our lives, Kav Yachol with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He loves us more than anything in the world, and he's demanding of us. Yeah. But it's only because he loves us. Many people ask how the hostages came out of the tunnels after 738 days, and they were thankful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And they were never and they never went to Beis Yaakov, and they never went to yeshiva. How did they know this? How did they know this? How did they come out of the tunnels knowing it? Because our neshama knows this. Our neshama naturally knows this. And for all the women in chinuch, I can't say this more. I can't say this enough. Every single one of your Talmidos has a neshama. She knows this. But we get bogged down and we cover it up with all of this stuff. We can't even see it. We can't even relate to it. And what happened to those hostages in those tunnels was they were left with nothing else. And it totally stripped away all of that other stuff that takes us away from it. And what they were left with was this natural connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what we are. So when we say, I believe we all know this, and we say this every day, V'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha. We say this every single day. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we say this, what we're saying is, Hashem, I am so proud to be in your family. I am so proud to be in this family. And by the way, this is so easy to do nowadays, because when I was growing up, it was very easy, especially where I grew up in the Rockaways in Queens, and I grew up among a lot of, not a lot of frum people around me, right? You could kind of like convince yourself that maybe I'm a little bit like them. Maybe I'm like, they go to college, I go to college, I go to work, they go to work. Nowadays, it's so clear that we are nothing at all like the goyim around us, nothing at all. So when we have this tremendous love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we say, I want to take care of his children. And this is at the core of what you're all doing. This is at the core of what you are all doing here. You are all taking care of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's children. You're giving them nitzchias. You're giving them eternity. Do you know how valuable that is? In today's world, we don't talk about these things enough. Do you know how valuable it is that you're giving your girls nitzchias? You're giving them eternity. The Stipler says that you want to know how long eternity is? How long is eternity? You fill a sandbag with sand. We were all on the beach yesterday. Imagine sandbags filled with sand, and you pile one sandbag and another sandbag and another sandbag and another sandbag, all the way up to Shamayim. And every million years, take out one speck of sand. Can you try to even imagine what eternity is? And what you are giving to your Talmidos is nitzchias. It's eternity. You're teaching them his Torah, and you're living as role models of the way a Jewish person is supposed to live. How a Jewish person, a Yid, is supposed to be with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in front of them at all times. And along with that feeling of loving HaKadosh Baruch Hu and loving somebody is the feeling that I don't want to let them down. One of my students in my Chabura, Avivit, she was a daddy's girl, and she only got love from him. He just loved her and loved her and loved her. And she came home one night when she was 17, and instead of 12 o'clock at her curfew, she came home at 2 o'clock, and her parents were just sitting in their chairs with tears in their eyes. They didn't say anything. They were just sitting there looking at her. And she opened up the door at 2 o'clock in the morning. She saw her parents. And she will never forget what that felt like. She said, I will never forget what that felt like. How I disappointed them, how I hurt them, how I was so irresponsible, I was so thoughtless. And I just hurt them so much. She couldn't believe that she did that to them. She felt so awful. That's Yiras Hashem. That's Yiras Hashem. Yira gets such a bad rap. It gets such a bad rap. Fearing doesn't mean that I walk around scared all the time and I'm on the Grand Canyon on a tightrope and I'm worried about every single second. Yes, there is Yiras HaOnesh. There is the fear of consequences. Yes, there are consequences to your actions. Yes, that is life. You can't steal money and think that you're not going to go to jail. Yeah, there are consequences. But that's the lower level of Yira, of Yiras Hashem. The higher level is Yiras HaRaimamus, the awesomeness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Understanding that this HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who created this entire world, and he wants to have a relationship with me, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to mess it up. I want to have a relationship. I have a friend who loves to send me birthday cards. I'm very, very bad, everyone, at sending. I'm not so good at the calendar and a week before mailing out the birthday card, But I know how important it is to her. So every year, I write down on my calendar, send the card to Mindy, send the card to Mindy. Because one year I didn't send it, and I had like flips going on in my stomach, like, I can't believe I messed this up. I know how important this is. I can't believe I messed it up. That's the feeling we're supposed to feel with Yiras Hashem. We're supposed to feel, I don't want to mess up this relationship, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I don't want to disappoint you. So we talk about Ava, and then we talk about Yira. How do they go together? I mean, on the one hand, I'm feeling so grateful, and then on the other hand, I'm like worried about consequences, fear of consequences, fear of awesome, feeling that awesomeness. These feelings go hand in hand together so beautifully. Rav Noach used to say, when you wake up in the morning and you feel Avas Hashem, it's like getting into a car and pressing a gas pedal, putting your foot on the gas pedal. And you can go in that car for miles. You could drive for miles and miles and miles. What do you need in your car besides the gas pedal? You need brakes. If you drive a car with a gas pedal without brakes, what's going to happen? You can go off a cliff, God forbid. You can't even make your turns. You have to be able to slow down. You have to be able to tap your brakes very lightly, sometimes a little bit more, but you got to tap them in order to be able to keep the car in the lane. You've got to stay in your lane. Avas Hashem is like the gas pedal of the car. Yiras Hashem is like the brakes. But here's the thing. Can you drive your car with your brakes? Can you drive a car with your brakes? If you keep on slamming on those brakes all day long and you keep on banging on those brakes, you're going to wear them out. You are just going to wear them out. You cannot get anywhere with them. And that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu says these two mitzvos are constant. They're constantly at the same time. On the one hand, I want to go, and on the other hand, I need to understand that there are consequences to my actions. Reishis Chachma, Yiras Hashem, Seichel Tov L'chol Oseiim. The first thing is, Ki im Va'ata Yisrael, Ma Hashem Elokecha Shoel Mimcha, Ki im Liyira Es Hashem Elokecha. That's what Hashem is asking for us. He's not asking us for walk around being scared all the time. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be near anybody I'm scared all the time. Who wants to have a relationship with somebody they're scared of? But to understand that awesomeness is a combination of fear and love. It's a combination of, I don't want to mess this up. So now, if you know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the creator and sustainer and orchestrator of the world, and if you know there's no other independent power, and if you know that it's all Him, then you're going to feel love, and you're going to feel Yira. Yeah, you're going to feel both of them at the same time. And then, if you know it and you feel it and you live it, you're going to want to use all of your talents and all of your abilities and take care of His children. And velo sasuru achrei levavchem v'achrei nechem. Or as the pasuk says, va'asisem es kol mitzvosai. If you do when you do all the mitzvos, which you're going to want to do because you're in this relationship, velo sasuru achrei levavchem v'achrei nechem. You will be so busy doing His mitzvos and feeling excited about it and passionate about it, about how lucky you are to be in this relationship, that it's going to help you stay away from all the desires of your heart and your eyes. And so if we had more time, we could go into an entire couple of hours of how one of them is gaiva and one of them is taiva, and how all of those things pull us away. But you know what? When you're really solid and you're really feeling so connected, those things don't pull you the same way. They don't. So yeah, how do I see myself? Do I need others' approval for my self-esteem? What do I find meaningful? I think as mechanchos, because I have to wrap up. I think as mechanchos, we have to really think about this. We have to think about what is going to give our next generation feelings of passion and excitement and enthusiasm for Torah and mitzvos, that when they walk around in the streets, that they walk with their heads held high, that I'm a Jewish woman. I'm a Jewish woman. I am carrying with me the torch of my ancestors for Dairis. And I am so lucky that I have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How are we going to instill that? It's not Don't do this, don't do that, don't go here, don't go there, don't put, don't. What? It's not, it's what am I going to, what's going to give me passion? What's going to give me excitement? What's going to give me enthusiasm? Because living with a Shivisi mindset, living with these Sheish Mitzvahs Tmidios, provides a holistic framework for my entire life. It provides a holistic framework for how I view all my relationships, how I view my schedule, my day, my priorities, my relationships. And I think for you as teachers, the more they know, it works the same way for teachers too. We feel this way about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but you know what it implies to parents and teachers? The more that you know that you love them, the more they know that you love them, the more they will feel it. They will want to show you. They will want to show you. And I think that's such an integral part of who we are. When I think back to my education, I don't remember a lot of what my teachers told me, but I do remember how I felt in their classroom. I remember which teachers I wanted to make me, to be proud of me. I remember that very, very clearly. So let's focus on the main thing. I challenge you to think of these mitzvos when you're preparing your dinner, as you're preparing your lessons, when you're about to praise a student, or you're about to discipline a student, when you're getting ready for work, when you're happy with your job, or when you're frustrated with your job. Remember that we all have infinite value, and that those around us have infinite value, and that what we see in the superficial realm cannot be taken for face value. That every single Yiddish neshama knows this. They know it deeply inside themselves. They know it as we, his children, know it, and that is the main thing. Thank you.